So here's another video on working on miscellaneous tractors in bad shape that I bought and figuring out what to do with them. So this one has messed up transmission, and it moves in neutral, but you can't even shift it at all into gear. High and low range is seized up. The seat and seat spring is completely messed up and loose. The engine is seized up, probably beyond fixable. Spark plug went missing somehow. It was on it when I got it. Now it's gone. Has this going on here. That'll be down there. This engine is not going to be used on here. I'm going to swap it out with something else. But yeah, so that's that. I'll get back to that in a minute. But Hydrotrack 14 is still sitting in the same spot it's always been. I was just kind of using that frame as a template to make more frames for some reason. So some of you remember a while back, this tractor right here. I made that about a year and a half ago. And it didn't really turn out great. The rear frame was made too thin. So here is the rear end from it, the tires, all the parts from it got rewire wheeled down. And it's actually going to get a new rear frame that was properly made. So that would be this one, actually just one of the two rear frames. And then because I had more metal left over, I made another rear frame, as well as some side frames, and the entire front frame. So I'll have everything to build an entire, it would be a 69 or 70 Hydrotrack 12 from scratch, because I have another one of these transmissions. I have a front axle, all four tires, dash, steering wheel, all that other stuff. I just needed the frame, so now I got a frame. So back to this, I'm going to, actually maybe I'll try to see if I can get that engine unseized. So let's go over to pile of tools I never put away. Get this pipe wrench. So we'll all see what happens here. I don't know if I would really recommend doing this on an engine you're going to use, but I'm just curious if I reefed on it hard enough, if it will get unseized. And yes, it will. Oh, stopped. Now it's going. Oh, that cylinder is full of rust. I don't know. Didn't really seem... Not sure what's going on here. I thought the cylinder was full of rust, but kind of get it spinning the right way here. I don't like these engines, so I'm not going to mess with it, but of course, other than I'm messing with it right now, I'm probably making it worse. Alright, anyway, I'm going to get this engine taken out of here, and I'll come back once it's out. So I made some progress on it. You can see that the engine is not in it anymore, and the transmission isn't in it. So there's the engine and everything to do with it. I'm just waiting to figure out what exactly I'm going to end up doing with it. And the transmission is over here. I decided to pull it apart because there's no way to fix it from not tearing it apart. So this does not look very nice. But weird thing is nothing on it actually is wore out, is what's odd. Like normally on every single other one of these I've tore apart, that gear right there, which actually slides down into that gear, and then this gear goes into there. None of these gears show any signs of being wore at all. Like it's almost never even used. That's what's strange. The other thing that's weird is it didn't have any oil in it, only water. So if the oil leaked out, then how come the water didn't leak out? So apparently it didn't have any oil in it at all. And somehow it got water in it, and there's this sludge at the bottom that looks like it's just a glob of rust. So I think I'm going to have to basically take this whole thing apart and clean everything and then put it back together. So I will get some more progress done and come back. Okay, so made a bunch of progress on the transmission. It's actually back together now. Here is some pictures of the transmission. Tore all apart and cleaned up. So that was it. Everything getting cleaned up on it. I figured out kind of what happened on how that water got in there. So I've actually gotten a few of these tractors recently. Over about the past year or so that's had a lot of water in the transmission. None of them were never this bad, but pretty sure this is what's happening. So every tractor that I've had that's had water in the transmission, like more than none, I guess, is this thing here has always been loose. So I'm thinking what happens is water seeps down right in here, since these sit outside, and seep down in there, and then over the years of sitting outside, it ends up inside the transmission. So what I'm going to end up doing is just putting a little bit of a weld around there just to seal that up. I was going to glue it, just put some silicone around there, but I wanted something more permanent, didn't want it cracking and falling off, so figured if it got welded, then it can't break and fall off like it would with silicone. Yeah, I got the gasket maker going around the side. I actually cracked the corner here, so I had to just gasket or use that same glue stuff and just seal that up. Kind of sucks that I broke it, but what it is what it is. Hubs are down there and stuff is there. Rest of the tractor's still here. I haven't figured out exactly what I'm gonna do to debend that spindle. I have other spindles, but I like repairing stuff instead of just replacing things, because they don't make any of these anymore, so you gotta fix what you have before replacing it, or at least try. So you can see that that rim there is pretty badly bent, and then that tire is bent in also, so that's a problem. I did take the engine apart. The block was no good, but all the parts in that box there are good, so I'm actually going to end up selling that stuff. I don't have a use for that because I'm not a fan of these 12-horse Tecumsehs with the starter generator. Don't really like them, so I'm going to probably end up just selling the whole works in one price, just something so it can go to somebody to reuse it. Anyway, I'm going to get that transmission finished up, get it installed in this tractor, and come back. Okay, so I got the transmission in, I got the hood and grill on, I got oil in the transmission, and then also welded that shifter so that little thing ain't gonna bounce around anymore and water ain't gonna go down there anymore. Borrowed the hood off of another tractor. This is actually the hood that's actually for this one. And I got the grill bolted on. So if I can get this open, it fits nicer on the dash, so it was a little hard to open, but got the hood support on. So I'm actually going to borrow the engine and the seat and the fenders off of this one, and then put it on there so I can get that one going, and then figure out what to do with this one. So this is a 68 SS12, so I guess a Super 12. So it's supposed to have, if I can get this up right here. Anyway, it's supposed to have this style hood and grill. So my thought is to repaint that bottom half, or to somehow get the paint off to look original blue like that, because the original blue paint is under there. You just gotta chip off that red, and the original paint's under there. But to put that hood and grill on here and turn it back into a 68 Super 12 with the right hood and grill it should have. And then I'm still going to have to find some other original paint, blue fenders to match. So fenders, engine, and seat are going to move onto that. So I'm going to do a little bit of stuff here and come back. Okay, so I got the tractor actually all done for the most part. So the engine is of course in. I drove it around for a little while. The only thing left I have to do is to drill a broken out bolt there and hook up this hood support. I just couldn't wait to do that. I wanted to drive it a little bit. I did my clutch setup that I always do on like every single tractor. So it seems to work out good. You just basically take it off the old Tecumseh engine and you drill 2 holes down there. And sometimes you have to cut the back corner there out just to make the piece go through. And yeah, that's the clutch. Fenders are off that other 68 SS12. I got the steering kind of fixed. I realized that that front spindle down there, it was jammed full of old grease, so it wasn't really spinning very good. And this side, I think I pointed out earlier on in the video, this spindle was bent way over like that. So what I did is, since you all know I have my Sears tractor forklift right there, what I did is the forks, basically what happened is I put a fork right here and I had another fork right here. Took the tire off and I put the nut on the spindle for the end of the spindle, and I put a giant pipe on the end and reefed on the other end of it and bent the spindle back. So the spindle is perfect, exactly the way it should be. And then I also took this tie rod off and I stuck it in the vise and I put a pipe on the other end and bent that straight. So it actually steers really nice, just like it should. This tractor was actually supposed to get egg tires and a 3-point hitch, but the transmission on here is very noisy and it leaks oil very, very bad. As you can actually see, just for like 2 minutes it was parked here, it's just dripping. So it's got seal problem on both sides and it's very loud. So I think one of the bearings on the inside isn't quite right. So eventually I'll probably end up pulling the transmission out and putting a different one in. And I'll show you the other tractor real quick. So here's the other tractor. I think what my plan is for this one. So this is actually the one I've had for a few years. It's a 68 Super 12 that used to have, of course, this style of hood and grill on it, which is now on that tractor. So the plan here is, because this thing is kind of messed up, it has a repainted rear hitch plate that kind of blends in, and it has a repainted front frame, and this proper hood and grill that should go on it is very ugly, and I don't have any fenders for it that are original paint. So the plan is to basically push this out back for now, but within a little bit of time, after I get that restoration done, those 2 done, and another one I've got working on, is to actually restore this, because I don't have an original, or I don't have a restored 68 in my fleet yet, so I kind of want one. So my plan is to actually restore this one. And before I end the video, I just want to show you something else cool. I got the loader for the Branson tractor. So that finally has a loader on it now. So yeah, that's it for this video. I'm not sure exactly yet what the next video is going to be about, but yeah, thanks for watching.